Welcome! Today we're going to talk about this awesome 2021 Tesla Model 3 long range all-wheel drive that we have for sale. One awesome battery electric vehicle. I'm a big fan of the Model 3. I own one myself. I've had one for about 2 years. Mine's just a 2019 standard range. This one's a little bit nicer, a little bit longer range, a little bit more features in mine. And 2021 is a great year for the Model 3 because it got a substantial revision, probably the biggest revision we've seen since it was more recently refreshed. Almost a complete redesign. But these Teslas on the used market, they're really a great vehicle, a great way to get into a battery electric vehicle at an excellent price point. We've been selling Teslas for a long time. We have a very big EV business. We sell lots of pre-owned Teslas. I think we've probably sold 5 or 6 so far this month. 2 years ago, they were a lot more expensive. New Model 3s and used Model 3s, late Model 1s, they were selling for $50,000, $60,000, close to $70,000 at one point until Tesla lowered its prices on the Model 3. New versions of the Model 3 like this were like $60,000+. Now, this is July of 2024. Now you can get a nice Tesla like this on the used market for the low $30,000 range. And sometimes in the high 20s depending on the mileage and features. So yeah, I mean, it's a different price point now. So now we're finding, before 2 years ago when there weren't as many Teslas on the road and they were a lot more expensive, it's kind of more of like a luxury good. It's kind of more an exclusive thing. But now we're finding that there's a whole new class of buyers looking at Teslas now because it's a much more affordable price point. I mean, a $30,000 range is pretty much the average price for a used vehicle like this. So when it comes to maybe getting a used gas car or a used Tesla Model 3, and they're right around the same price, it's a compelling proposition for a number of reasons. The first reason, obviously, is saving money on electricity versus gas. I probably spend about $50, $60 a month to charge my Tesla versus spending $100, $150 a month on gas. But that's not the only savings. The other saving is maintenance. Gas cars require a decent amount of maintenance. They require oil changes, spark plugs. They require big 30, 60, 90K services. Sometimes you have to change the timing belts. You can have problems with the emission control system. Sometimes you might find someone underneath your car trying to steal a catalytic converter. A gas car has thousands of moving parts. A EV has dozens. This is all-wheel drive. Generally, an all-wheel drive gas car requires all-wheel drive services. You have to service those differentials. Not the case with a Tesla. Basically, your biggest maintenance item on this one is tires. And then the rest is wiper blades and cabin filters. That's pretty much it, rotating your tires. But you're not going to have big, expensive services. And you have a lot of warranty in the battery. A lot of people ask, oh, how long is the battery going to last? When am I going to have to replace the battery? Well, the battery in an EV is like an engine in a car. It's really not designed to be replaced. Tesla gives you a lot of warranty in the battery and the drive units. I'm pretty sure I'll pop it up on the screen, but I'm pretty sure it has a balance of an 8-year, 120,000 mile warranty on the drive units. So that's like having a 120,000 mile warranty on your powertrain. Most gas cars, the longest powertrain warranties you see from the factory are generally like 60, 70,000 miles, but 120,000 miles, 8 years is pretty substantial. And the thing is when EVs first came out, we really didn't know how long the batteries are going to last. But now with millions of EVs on the road, millions of Teslas, the batteries have proven to be very robust. Some of the early Teslas had higher incidences of battery failure, but statistically speaking, just for Teslas, all Teslas 2016 and newer, 2016 was basically a big change in the reliability of their batteries. The failure rate is 0.03%. I'll say that again. 0.03% is the failure rate on batteries and Teslas. So it's pretty much non-existent. We've sold Teslas with 100,000+ miles. We sold a Model 3 not too long ago of 125,000 miles on it. The battery is fine. And then when they do go bad, there are companies that can repair the batteries, because a lot of times when a battery fails in a Tesla, it's not the whole battery. There's a bunch of little batteries inside a EV battery. It's not just one big battery, it's a bunch of little batteries. And generally it's only like a bank of batteries that goes bad or needs to be replaced, not all of them. So there's companies that can actually open up the battery and replace the broken batteries so you don't have to replace the whole battery pack. But when it comes to replacing batteries, it's expensive to replace an engine in a car. If you compare this to like a BMW or Mercedes, a new engine in a BMW or Mercedes at a Mercedes dealership of labor rates 150, 180, sometimes $200 an hour. It could be $20,000, $30,000. You know, that's probably what it would cost for a new battery in this. But since it has an 8-year, 120,000 mile warranty, you might not even own this anymore. So Teslas have proven to be very robust. There's a Tesla high mileage club out there, you know, with Teslas with the original batteries of 200 and even 300,000 miles. So you have this huge, you have this big clean sheet design, not a lot of buttons and knobs. For 2021, we saw the addition of this redesigned center console, really nice wireless charging pad. More importantly, in 2021, Tesla added a heat pump. A heat pump makes a big difference, kind of like in your house. It makes it much more efficient to heat the vehicle and to cool it. So you know all those stories about EVs not doing that great in cold weather. Well, it is true. EV batteries are a lot less efficient in cold weather, especially when it goes below freezing. But the heat pump makes a big difference. We have a fully charged range on this of about 340, 350 miles. But in the real world, it's a little bit different because this has lithium-ion batteries. So charging to 100%, you can see it's telling me not to charge it to 100% all the time. That's okay every once in a while for road trips, but for daily use, they recommend charging it to 80%. That's just happier for the lithium-ion batteries. The batteries are kind of like an engine in the car. There's different types of batteries and different types of Teslas and EVs. On the higher end Teslas, the more performance-oriented ones, they use lithium-ion batteries, which this one has. Lithium-ion batteries are more energy dense, so they don't weigh as much, and they can release more energy quicker and put it into the electric motor, so that generally translates into better performance. Where the entry-level Model 3 doesn't have as long as range, doesn't have as good as performance, those use lithium iron phosphate batteries, which are a little bit different. Actually, lithium iron phosphate batteries like to be charged to 100%. It's just the opposite. But they're not as energy dense, so they weigh more. Generally, you know, LFP equipped Teslas weigh a couple 100 pounds more than a lithium ion battery equipped Tesla. And you know, weight in an EV can make a big difference with efficiency. Weight's kind of your enemy. And as far as performance goes, generally the lithium iron phosphate battery equipped Teslas, their 0 to 60 is little under 6 seconds. But look at this. Normally 0 to 60 and this is around, you know, just under 5 seconds. But this has the acceleration boost upgrade. It's an in-app purchase. It's $2,000, and you get a software update, and it unlocks more power. So it goes 0 to 60 down to 3.7 seconds. 3.7 seconds, 0 to 60 is ridiculously fast. Not too long ago, that was considered exotic car territory. But for an efficient EV to go that fast, you'll put a lot of purpose-built sports cars to shame. So when it comes to, you know, merging on the highway, passing, it makes a big difference. And the thing is sometimes, you know, there's Tesla haters out there. When you want to change lanes, you want to merge, sometimes people don't want to let you in. I can see when I put my turn signal on and I'm going in the other lane, I can see the people behind me speeding up not to let me in. Maybe they don't like Teslas, or they're just meanies, I don't know. But when you go 0 to 60 in 3.7 seconds, you can make space. They're not fast enough not to let you in. So when I see, you know, even my Tesla, which is a lot slower than this one, when I see people doing it, I just mash the accelerator and I can make space. They're not going to not let me in. They can't. Their car's not fast enough. They can't react fast enough. So that's the nice thing about EVs. In that case, you know, speed can be an advantage in situations like that, and it's also a lot of fun. Then we have Autopilot, which is amazing traffic-aware cruise control, which allows the vehicle to brake and accelerate in its own lane. It comes pretty much with every Tesla made since 2019. Full self-driving gets a lot of press. It's gotten a lot better. I've had full self-driving in my Tesla for 2 years. If you want to try it out, it's $99 a month, or you can buy it for $8,000. I'd recommend trying it first before you buy it. I absolutely love it. But the regular Autopilot's great too. It works on regular roads. Here's a video of me just using regular Autopilot, and you can see it's steering, you know, on this 2-lane road. It's following corners. It's not going to take hairpin corners. It's not going to stop for stoplights. It's not going to stop for, you know, it's not going to stop for red lights. It's not going to stop for stop signs. It will alert you. You know, it can't do everything that full self-driving does, but for, you know, driving on the roads, driving on the highway, it's an absolute godsend. And for $99 a month, the full self-driving is a lot of fun. It's great, but it's still not perfect. You know, it still requires you to keep your hand in the wheel and pay attention. It's not like you can read a book, take a nap with the full self-driving. You are required to pay attention. There's actually a camera right here that monitors you. And even with the autopilot, if you start messing around with the screen too much, if it sees you taking your eyes off the road, it will alert you, and it will ultimately disable the system if you do not end up paying attention. Pretty cool stuff. We have this amazing screen. There's no hard buttons or knobs with these Teslas. The majority of the functionality is in this screen. It's like using an iPad. It's very intuitive. You'll get the hang of it fairly quick. There's also voice commands you can put on the wipers, you can put on the rear defroster. There's 140 different voice commands that you can use, so you don't have to really, while you're driving, you don't have to mess with stuff. You can change the climate, put your heated seats on, do a lot of stuff just using voice commands. Putting inputs into the navigation system, really awesome stuff. And the thing with hard buttons and knobs, they're there forever. This is infinitely reconfigurable. It's constantly getting over-the-air updates. They're adding games, they're adding new features, they're changing the display and functionality. It's constantly improving. My 2019 Tesla has changed quite a bit since I've bought it. I've gotten new features in my Tesla that weren't there before, just with over-the-air updates. With old-fashioned gas cars, your car just gets older, it doesn't get better. This is a car that actually gets better the older it gets in a lot of ways. It might get more miles on it, but it can get safer, and it can get improved features with these over-the-air updates. And basically Tesla's rolling these out every month. It actually does have an update right now that we need to download. So yeah, amazing cameras. These cameras are great for parking and maneuvering. You have blind spot cameras. That was another over-the-air update. You know, Teslas for a long time didn't have blind spot cameras. Then one day you got an over-the-air update and boom, you have blind spot cameras. So there's 8 cameras all around this vehicle, which is great because that allows for Sentry mode. You can pull up live camera views while the car is parked, and it will record any movements around the vehicle. You can also program the stuff. It's, you know, you can shut the stuff off if it's annoying, but if you're worried about your car being vandalized, whatever, it records someone walks past the car, it's going to be recorded. So if someone keys your car, bumps into it at the supermarket and drives off, it'll be recorded. I've had that happen. Or if you're in an actual accident, it records it. Or there's instances where I've seen crazy aggressive drivers, crazy stuff that happens on the road. It's constantly recorded. You have a dash cam that's constantly recording, it's recording, you know, video. So basically at any given time you have an hour of video of driving. So if something happens, you can save it, or you can just pull the USB out of your glove compartment, the flash drive, and you can download it on your computer. You know, so maybe if you gotten there's instances where people have gotten tickets for failure to signal, things like that, and they've used these clips to get them out of a ticket, or prove that they weren't at fault in an accident. Pretty amazing stuff. So much to talk about. So little time, but these cars are so different. I can probably go an hour just talking about them. This has a nice premium white interior. That was an extra cost option. Looks beautiful, goes really nicely with the blue exterior. The blue was actually also an extra cost option. We also have a new headlight design for 2021. We have these nice projector headlights. Since there's no engine in the front, we have a frunk, which is more cargo space. It comes in handy. Also a safety feature. You have all this energy to absorb frontal crash energy in a collision. In fact, the Model 3 is one of the safest vehicles on the road. Some of the 4 safest vehicles you can buy are Teslas. When the NHTSA first tested out the Model 3, it was the safest car by pretty much every metric. The lowest probability of injury in an accident out of any other car on the road. And they just keep on getting safer. The newer Teslas are even safer. They keep on getting safer and safer. So obviously if you value your safety, if you value your family's safety, then obviously a Model 3 is a wise choice because it's one of the safest vehicles on the road, one of the lowest probabilities of an injury out of any other vehicle on the road. Pretty hard to argue with. Lots of trunk space as well, since you're not hampered by the conventional design of a gas car with an engine, drive shaft, gas tanks, exhaust systems. You have a lot more cargo space, even more cargo space under there. I think the Model 3 is a beautiful, timeless design. I always admired it. I still admire mine today. It hasn't gotten dated. It still looks modern today, even though this is a car that first came out in 2017. It was way ahead of its time, especially looking at the inside. Like I'm in my 2019 Model 3, and I look at this huge screen right there, And you know, it's driving me around, and I'm thinking, wow, this car is 2019 and it feels, you know, new 2024, 2025 cars feel ancient. It's a car that was ahead of its time, and obviously they were thinking ahead, you know, allowing for over-the-air updates and that big screen with the functionality in it. They were thinking ahead to keep the car relevant in the future. You know, obviously it might be a little bit overshadowed today by the brand new Model 3, but the brand new Model 3 is still a lot of money versus a 2021 like this. And there are certain things that people aren't crazy about with the new Model 3. The one thing that people aren't crazy about, it doesn't bother me that much, but may bother you, is that they did away with the conventional stalks here for the wipers and to put it, you know, in reverse neutral drive. They did away with those and they put them on the steering wheel, and you have to access some of that stuff on the screen. So if you're thinking of maybe getting a used Tesla Model 3 or a new one, that new redesigned one, that might be some stuff that make you sway one way or another. But there we have it. We have some great promotions going right now. Complimentary delivery to Washington, Oregon, and Idaho. We can put this in our car haul, or we can tow it to you. So for mobile delivery service, this beautiful Model 3 can be all yours without leaving your neighborhood or your driveway. Thanks so much for watching. Hope to see you soon, and have a wonderful day.